bruh, bruh, bruh.
It's rubbish attempt at creating a factual acronym Tuesday.
Well, hey there, everybody. It's time to take a look at a game that many of you might know has been around a while. It's been a favorite of many people for quite some time. Well, maybe not a favorite, I don't know. Beloved, enjoyed. Yeah, I've never met anyone who said this was their favorite game, but, like, who knows? Who knows? It is something that is well-liked, overwhelmingly positively reviewed, and, yeah, therefore chances that you know about it pretty high. But let's get into it. This is FTL, which stands for Faster Than Light, and it was released in 2012 by Subset Games. And this is a turn-based space combat roguelike, which it's been an indie darling since its first release, and I finally got round to playing it. I've known about this game, I've known what it is, what it does. I even watched my wife play it a little bit. And yeah, like it just always seemed like something I would enjoy. I just needed to get around to playing it. Immense backlog and whatnot. So yes, today was the day, and I started playing it, and had a lot of fun, actually. More than I would have thought. So the basic premise of the game is simple. You are carrying plans, basically. It's kind of a reverse Star Wars, because the rebels are the bad guys, and you are working for the Galactic Empire, and you're the good guys, apparently. Anyway, regardless. But you have vital information about the enemy's strength, number, position, etc., and you need to make it from one end of the sector to the other in order to prevent the enemy from overcoming your peoples and ultimately, hopefully, save the day. So yeah, that's the basic idea. And as you make your journey, you're going to encounter an potentially endless number of hazards and enemies and whatnot. And also, as you're making your way, you will see there's this sort of red semicircular nonsense that slowly takes over every sector of the map. Those are the rebels. The rebels, sir, they're here with flags. Anyway, yeah, so, yeah, you gotta outrun the rebels, explore as much of each sector as you can, because there's, potentially a lot of goodies, things that are gonna help you, ways to get new weapons, and the in-game currency, all of the things that you need in order to survive. But you don't want to spend too long, because the rebels are advancing, that's that red half circle. And then also, as you jump from sector to sector, you have no idea what you're going to encounter. So, yeah, that makes it hazardous and perilous. Perilous and hazardous. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Your ship comes with a base crew of 3 people, and you can pick up more crew members along the way. You can hire some if you save up some money. Or, it also costs you money, but a bit less. You can buy slaves. From the slavers, which is, morally problematic, but it's a cheaper way to get crew members, and you're going to need some crew members. So you got to make choices, and the moral ambiguity is, very much with this game. So know that is true as you're going into it. So, yeah, you're choosing your path forward from point to point on the map, and as you go, your crew helps you maintain your ship, which is what you need in order to survive, and you have to put them in places where they can do the best work. And different crew members are going to be better at different things, and the longer you leave them in a place, the more they progress in their ability to do the thing. And so it's important to remember where you're keeping everybody and what you're having them do. I have a bad habit of getting crew members switched around and putting them in the wrong places, which is not helpful. It didn't help me much. Anyway, so on the map screen, you choose the next place you're going to, and then you make the jump using your faster than light drive. Oh, that's why it's called faster than light. Yes, because you have an FTL drive, which you can jump away. Yeah, and sometimes you can jump away from the enemy using it. Very unlikely. They do try to disable those systems immediately, and you will find yourself repairing them almost every single time. But yeah, the fun thing is that as you're jumping from point to point, you don't know what you're going to encounter. You know, could be pirates, could be rebels, could be slavers, or you might be faced with an opportunity to help people. You know, there are distress beacons. There are, you know, people who are willing to sell you things. Some of them are slavers. Some of them are pirates. You have to make your moral decisions as you go along. But yeah, it's fun because your choices really do matter. But very often you have no idea how your choices will matter until you've actually made them. So keeps it interesting, keeps you on your toes. I mean, usually you have a pretty good guess, and usually the outcome is within a range of what a pretty good guess would be. So it's not going to completely blindside you every single time, although you will get blindsided from time to time. The RNG in this is not as harsh as, say, Darkest Dungeon, you know, because everybody hated how you can get TPK'd, total party killed, like, you know, almost immediately if you take a wrong turn, but you won't know it's a wrong turn, and there's no indication that it's a wrong turn. It's just the RNG in that game is unforgiving. The RNG in this game is somewhat forgiving, and in a lot of cases, it's like, okay, if you don't provoke the enemy, especially when they're massively, you know, when they've got you hugely outgunned, they're much bigger, much stronger, much better at being in space than you are. Yeah, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Anyway, that is a good strategy early on, because you need to build up yourself until you can actually face people. But the problem is, the best way to actually build yourself up is to engage enemies and defeat them. That's the way you got to keep an eye out for weak ones, because if they're weak, then just show them no mercy. Yeah, moral ambiguity. Again, are you the good guys? I don't know. But yeah, I'll tell you this. When I first started playing it, which was today, but I've been playing it for hours now, because I've been enjoying it. And at first, I kept dying because I was like, I won't live with the moral ambiguity. I'm not going to put up with pirates, and I'm not going to put up with slavers, and I'm not going to, you know. And then eventually, after dying several times, I was like, okay, fine, have slaves, you know. Basically, it turned me into President Buchanan. For those who get the joke, I don't know if anybody gets the joke. If you know why it's funny that, yeah, me ignoring slavers in this game is very much similar to what President Buchanan did, and what makes him, in many people's view, one of, if not our absolute worst president in all of history. Yeah, hilarious joke, and you're welcome to it. Anyway, so, yeah, I was dying a lot until I decided to lean into the moral ambiguity, and I would suggest that you do the same. It seems to be a feature rather than a flaw in the game. But yeah, it is the randomness of the game that keeps it really interesting. The fact that you don't know what you're going to get yourself into. You don't know if you're going to be in an asteroid belt. You don't know if you're going to be facing down automated drones that you just kind of have to fight. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know how willing the enemy is to let you pass. You don't know how easy it is to defeat them until you've actually tried. Yeah, so many things. So many things that you really need to just get a hold of and start figuring out. And the only way that you figure it out is by trying and dying, because roguelike. It is the way of the roguelike. But yeah, the randomness of the roguelike is what keeps the game interesting and gives it its replay value. And even though graphically, I mean, it looks fine graphically, it's not going to blow you away. You're not going to be like, oh my god, these spaceships look so incredibly real. but also you wouldn't be like, they look like garbage and I hate them. Uh, you know, they are perfectly serviceable for this game. And as a matter of fact, you know, you do need that interior view most of the time. So it's best to just, settle into that and realize it, because some of the unlockable ships, I unlocked exactly one ship and I didn't like it that much, but it's very boxy. And that boxiness actually is a pretty sweet feature, because then that allows me to get around much easier when I need to be maintaining my systems and keeping myself alive. So, yeah, make them choices, do what you got to do. Um, and yeah, this is the kind of game where at first you might not understand what its appeal is. You know, if you watch someone else, this is very much like, I had a friend who played Legend of Zelda all the time, and I remember watching him play it and thinking, gee, this is boring. And that's because it's boring watching somebody else play it. But if you get to play it, it's very exciting. And this game is like that, only, it takes a minute for you to figure out, for you to understand what it is that this game is presenting you with. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, now I get it, that it's more fun for me to play it than to watch it. But it does not give itself up easily in that regard. Anyway, I thought it was a lot of fun, and that is why when we get to the final score, I'm going to give this game an 8 out of a possible 10 Mag Blasts. Mag Blast is one of those Steve Jackson games. The original version was very serious, and the version that you can still buy now, I mean, the original version is expensive now because it's long out of print. And the current version is more jokey, a lot more like Munchkin. Still very fun to play, and actually surprisingly similar to how Faster Than Light plays, how FTL plays. So, yeah, 8 out of 10 Mag Blasts. I had a blast with it. Hope you enjoyed this one, people, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.